Chris, this is Alberto's last Grand Tour.
Sure.
What did he bring to cycling, and what do you think the sport will miss after Alberto's gone?
I think Alberto's certainly been one of my biggest rivals over the last few years, and he's got a certain flair about his racing and a very aggressive racing style, and that's something that certainly animates the race a lot more, and that's going to be missed, I think.
He helped Nairo win last year's Vuelta, so no favors lost there.
Yeah, it's. I think that's fair to say. Nairo probably owes him one for last year. But it'll be interesting to see how Alberto races his last race here. If he's, I don't think it's in his nature just to go out as a bit of a procession. I think he's here to win, and we'll do everything he can to animate the race as well. So.
How do you feel about your team this year for the Vuelta?
I think my team's probably the strongest team we've ever put on the start line of the Vuelta España. I think it's great that we've been able to do that, especially after such a strong squad in the Tour de France that we've still been able to back up, and a few guys have come in from the Tour as well, myself included. And then we've got a whole load of fresh guys who maybe did the Giro earlier on this year or had other goals, and have been able to focus on being ready for the Vuelta. So I think we've got a all-round really well balanced team, really strong team, and I think there's certainly a feeling of purpose in the team more than previously.
I mean, Alberto's just picked out you and Nibali as the favourites for the race. Do you see Vincenzo as your biggest rival?
I would say you have to. There are a lot of guys who I wouldn't discount at this point. Vincenzo is certainly one of the main guys who stands out. Alberto himself, I think, being his last race, I think we can expect him to go down fighting for the title with everything he's got. And the rest of the GC guys, I mean, we've got all the guys, a lot of the guys from the Tour, as well as guys who didn't do the Tour. So we've got a really deep field here. And I think until people actually lose time and write themselves off the general classification, everyone has to be considered a threat. But we'll soon find out once we hit Andorra in a couple of days' time. So.
Sure, yeah. What's about your shape comparing to the previous editions?
I think I'm in good shape. Probably similar kind of shape as what I was in the Tour. But we'll have to see. Again, I haven't raced since the Tour de France, so it's been hard for me to really tell exactly where I'm at. But we'll get those answers in the next few days once we go into the mountains in Andorra.
But do you think you're stronger than the previous year at the start of the Vuelta? Because we saw that in your scheduled race you arrived in shape a bit later than usual.
I think the plan was certainly for me to have a lighter first part of the season this year, and I think that's worked. I feel fresher at this point of the year. I certainly feel better, but if that's going to be reflective in the racing, we'll have to wait and see.
You said, Chris, that you felt the Tour wasn't over till last time trial in Marseille.
Yep.
Now you mentioned Angliru, which may be decisive.
Sure.
So that means you could have to bear another 3 weeks of pressure and uncertainty after a heavy Tour. How hard will that be?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the challenges here, and especially with so many GC stages here, it's almost as if every day you have to be right up front concentrating. Whereas in the Tour we had a few transition stages where you could say, okay, it will be a quiet day for the general classification. I don't feel as if we have that here, so that's another really challenging aspect to this year's Vuelta.
So would the mental game be probably just as hard to play as the physical game?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think mentally this is as tough as it gets, and with the conditions in southern Spain at the moment, with temperatures over 40 degrees, I think it's going to be a massive fight for the victory.
Why try to win it after 4 times Tour?
Well, as you said, I have to get up there to do more than just win the Tour. So. Otherwise, it doesn't really count. So.